Sorry for I've been traveling and I've not been able to get in a video for a while because of some preoccupation. कहाँ पे तो I was stuck, and because of that the long content video has not been out. Now I had made a video on a topic which is very dear to me, which is what is essential is invisible to the eye. But I felt that in that I went too much into the one particular field, and that's why I want to make it again. What is essential is invisible to the eye. I came across this quote from Antoine de Saint Exupéry's book The Little Prince, which is a small novel which is extremely beautiful, and it has a lot of anecdotes, a lot of metaphors. Basically, it takes us through the story of the little prince who dwells on a small exoplanet, and he comes to Earth, and it tells about his story, what he encounters, and the things that he encounters, how they change him, and the wisdom that they impart to him. And that book, it has a movie on it as well. It has been very enriching for me, and I do recommend it to anyone I come across. So, coming back, as the topic says, what is essential is invisible to the eye. Now, where can you say that? Where does it apply? I would call it the course of action for any art performed or anything of beauty that is seen, because even though what is seen brings forward something that is unseen, and that is the thing which is invisible to the eye. What is invisible to the eye? When you look at a piece of art, when you look at excellence performed by a sports person or someone who is extremely proficient at what they do, you see that, but it also takes you into a zone of thinking, a zone of contemplation as to the effort put behind it, the things that the person might have gone through to bring forth something of such beauty and capable of invoking such a high level of reverence within the person who witnesses it. What is it that the qualities that are exhibited through the things that we see, how are they so revealing? Whenever you look at a painting, you look at it, one thing, you look at it objectively, like the paint strokes, the colors used, the composition that has been created. And the second thing that you look at it is trying to go inside the vision of the artist as to what he's trying to achieve through the art, or what he's trying to convey, or what is the backstory. Even humans are nature of being extremely story oriented, as we wanting to look at things in terms of stories as to what is the backstory of it, or movie as an art form being so like a go-to platform for everyone, is because stories, the backstories, it matter to us, and stories are often the things that reveal behind what is happening in front of us. Because even though you see something which is quite grand happening, we always try to look at the backstory. We talked about art. Even when we talk about something which is not so subjective, something that is more practical, maybe we talk about even architecture. Me coming from the same background, I can say that once you look at a good building or a good composition, you think of the layers of work that have gone behind it, how that beauty has been achieved, how it is accommodating with the surrounding architecture, how it is, even if it is designed to be imposing, how it is achieving that, what are the features that have been incorporated, how is the circulation within the building happening, is a person, because the architecture or a building is always built with a user in mind, so is the user being justified, or is he having to do a lot of theatrics just for the sake of justifying the architecture, which becomes the other way around, which can be seen to an extent in brutalist architectures. Even though in brutalist architectures, I'm talking about the architectures where you see exposed concretes, facades which are extremely solid, shaped, maybe use of a lot of triangles or bold shapes. So even there, successful, or the artworks or the architecture that have been considered as successful are the ones which are actually justifying their purpose, their functionality, because it always is conceived in a way. First, the idea is conceived, the functionality is conceived, and then it comes to paper, and then it comes to the reality. So, even other fields, we can see that whatever field you deal in, maybe it could be into food industry, maybe you could be into cloth industry, you could be into software, anything beautiful created, it requires a lot of backstory within it. And like every backstory is as capable and potent to be made a movie out of it. It only requires a good eye to see it, as it is said that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So even when you look at nature, the beauty that you see in nature, when you go deeper into it, or if someone is having a scientific attitude towards life, maybe a stoic, or maybe someone who has experienced or explored nature to a great extent, they would tell you that nature is also extremely harsh. You have all the extremities happening in nature. Still, it is soothing for a normal human which is involved or extremely harassed into the society. It is extremely soothing as it gives a break. And if someone is living unscientifically, inorganically, or in a way where they are not doing justice to their existence, or we can call it maybe in that way, then nature teaches you, because its forms, its beauty, which we perceive as beauty, is sort of a mirror to us of our real nature and what we have to try to imbibe in our lives. That's why nature is so important, and many philosophers, they have advised humans to get closer to nature in times of travails, or when someone feels purposeless, or when someone is going through a grind which feels very artificial. Nature has its ways of connecting you back to your roots and showing you something which was, you had a capability of it, but which was absent from your life. And nature also does it in a way which is, maybe you can call it, invisible to the eye, because here we are not talking about a particular sense. It is not, when we talk about invisible to the eye over here, or when I am talking about it, I am not talking about it. If it is invisible to the eye, it is visible to other senses, then you are just maybe decreasing the depth of the thing which is being said. What it genuinely means is invisible to the eye. It also means that not audible to the ear, as well as you cannot smell it, you cannot feel it either. You, in a way, go beyond the purview of the senses. So, this contemplation, this reflection, many a times this has been told as something which is beyond, something of beyond, it transpires, it conspires into your life. So, that we can call it as something which is invisible to the eye or beyond your senses.